Hey everybody, this is Anime Goji here, and today I will be reviewing the 2012 horror anime series Another. Now, Another is a 12-episode show produced by PA Works and was based off the novel written by Yukito Ayatsuji. So I am just going to give you a brief look at the background of the show, and then I'll talk about the good, the bad, and the awesome parts before giving off my final verdict of this show. So the basic story is that 26 years ago, a young student from Young North Junior High, 9th grade class 3, died in a mysterious accident. Now, if you can understand, everybody in their class was very shocked, so they didn't want to believe that their student friend had died. So they obviously decided to come up with a way and pretend that that person was still alive. Fast forward 26 years later to spring of 1998, a new transfer student named Koichi Sakakibara joins 9th grade class 3 because his father is working in India and his mother died 15 years earlier. In class, he finds a mysterious young girl going by the name of Mei Misaki, who wears an eye patch over her left eye, and everybody in the class seems to ignore. When Koichi tries to talk to her, Mei just says to stay away from her, and it may have already begun. Shortly after this happening, Koichi's friends start to die in very, very, very gory ways. As I'm gonna say right now, if you want to watch this series, just a word of warning, if you don't like blood, don't watch it. This series has got some really, really gruesome deaths. I'm not going to really tell you in great detail about them or which character will get that death, because I really don't want to spoil this show too much. So right now I am going to go into what I find is personally good, as in not amazing, but not terrible, mostly just a good part of the show. The awesome, which is the best parts of the show, like the animation, music, and the worst parts of the show, which might end up going back to the one which was good or decent. So first off, the good parts of the show are definitely the characters. I'm not going to say the characters are awesome. They're far from it. Really, the only two that get any sort of development are Koichi Sakakibara and Mei Misaki, are two main characters of the show. The rest of the cast is more supporting, and in the end there aren't really that many characters that are essentially memorable. I think there are only a few, but I'll give off my personal list of characters who I think did a alright job. Izumi Akazawa, the head of the countermeasures, who I greatly dislike, but everybody else seems to love, even though I don't understand it, which does. Naoya Teshigawara, the kind of comedic person who tries to have his lighten up the show a little. Yuya Machizuki, who helps Koichi through solving this curse that's affecting the class. Then he's got his aunt Reiko, who essentially is technically also the assistant head of class 3. Then there is the creepy librarian Mr. Chibuki, who was originally the homeroom teacher of the class where the young student died, and since then has been keeping a record of the years that this curse has been going on. Other characters out there are like Tomohiko Kazumi, who is best friends with Naoya, Sani Mizuno, who is the nurse who helps through Koichi during the first few episodes of the show, and Yukari Sakuragi, who also is friends with Koichi through the first few episodes. Everybody else, like I said, aren't really that well developed. Even those characters I mentioned, other than Koichi and Mei, aren't the best lot of characters, really. But overall, the characters are okay. They're not the best, but they're not terrible either, so they're alright. Next thing I want to talk about is the grades, which I have to give to two of them. The animation is essentially probably the best part of the show. It is very fluid and definitely holds up to the standards that PA Works has set. And it also conveys the very dark themes of the show, like how it is mostly cloudy in practically every episode, same with the rain. The old and rusting buildings also give off this really old and creepy vibe. Also, Mei's dollhouse is really, really creepy. If you don't like dolls, well, tough to you. The sound is also quite a good part. I know a lot of people dislike the opening of the show, but to me, it is in fact probably the best track of the entire series. All the other tracks are also quite good, though they're not really as good as the show's opening. But other than that, the animation and sound are probably the two best things that this show does, which is also what PA Works is known for, making like some of the best animation out there. Next, I want to move on to the bad. Now, going back to this, I would say that the characters, even though I mentioned they were good, this is mostly talking about more of the supporting and all the other characters I didn't just list. Everybody else is very, very bland. I didn't really care if they really died or not. And just to make sure, there are a lot of deaths, but when you're not really essentially caring for them, you don't really feel that much attachment towards them. Not to say I didn't feel any when some of the characters got killed. I did for some, but for most I was just like, oh, there goes, what's that person's name again? I completely forgot. So that's not essentially a good part of the show. Also, I will say that the ending is kinda crap. I know a lot of people like it, but it's not essentially the main ending. I think it's alright, but for this kind of show, I just don't like it. It just does not fit. I mean, by the end of one episode, one of the characters dies, and then by the ending theme, but just like 20 seconds later, the ending theme is playing and that character just appears all happy as like nothing's happened. To be honest, I feel like the ending fits more of a high school romance than it does of a horror mystery, which I would have preferred to have a more slower but darker themed ending. Something like the opening, but slower. Also, the last thing I want to mention is I don't necessarily blame how the show itself, but how many episodes they managed to get done. It was the 12 episodes. I feel like the show could have done better if it was stretched out more. Now I know that the budget might not have included that, so they could only do it 12 episodes. But when you have a show like this, it's more safer to make it longer. even with a few boringer episodes, just to make sure that everything can get wrapped up quickly and it flows more fluid. Because with the 12 episodes, it does seem to cram in some stuff that could have been spread out over more episodes. To me, the show should have been at least 16, maybe more. But for 12 episodes, it did good. So, now it's on for my final verdict. I really, really love Another. In fact, it is the first anime I ever watched and actually got me into it. Though, I will say it does have problems. Not gonna lie, I'm not gonna be blinded by bias. It has problems, and it has ones that hold it back from being super awesome. I will say it's probably one of the best horror ones I've seen. But overall, I will give it an 8 out of 10. It is a very enjoyable show, and I think that people who want to see a good horror mystery should definitely watch it. It has its faults, but every show has them. And even with that, it still pulls off a really good horror mystery, which is what you will look for. So, 8 out of 10 is really good. I find that to be a high score, and I think it is what the show should get. Now, I know everyone has their opinions, and some people will go, this is quite crap, or some people think that it's a bit higher than an A, but I find 8 to be perfectly fine. So, with that now, I leave you with Another, one of the best horror mystery anime ever. And you should check it out. You can buy it on eBay or Amazon or watch it on YouTube or websites. I watched on YouTube. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this review of Another, and hopefully I'll be doing some more anime reviews soon. But for now, see you later. This is from Anime Goji.